It's time for your daily LSU baseball update with Musso at the box. Now, Matt Musso.
Off and running. Welcome in to another edition of Musso at the Box, presented by Gotlit Light Installers. Fired up to have you all with me. Of course, LSU Wednesday night, they dispatched the Dallas Baptist in Arlington 7-3, and now all focus turns towards the Frisco Classic. Today on the show, we preview Kansas State, we preview Nebraska, we preview Sam Houston State, all three of LSU's opponents this weekend. And there is one distinct advantage that stands out for LSU over the course of all three of these games that we will get into after we tell you what to watch and who to watch for on each side over the course of this weekend. It presents some unique challenges because both Kansas State and Nebraska were NCAA tournament teams a season ago. Kansas State actually went into Fayetteville, won that regional, and advanced to the super regional round. This is a team, and Nebraska, where you're going to look at their records and maybe be like, I encourage you to not do that. Both of these teams are very talented, very capable, and very, very scrappy. We will get more into that as we go along. Sam Houston State, they are off to a tougher start than they would like, and then honestly, that program is used to, but there's still some ability there for the Bearcats, obviously, to touch on. So go ahead and smash the like button if you have not already. Get subscribed to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Get subscribed in your favorite podcast app. Just search Musso at the Box. Hit that subscribe. Be sure to set your notifications on YouTube and your podcast so you know each time the show is posted. And, of course, you can follow me on social media. Those handles scroll on the ticker below the screen. And let's go ahead and we will dive right into it. We will start with Friday's matchup. And we'll start on the mound. For LSU, it will be sophomore lefty Cade Anderson. Anderson will make his third appearance, his third start. He is 2-0 with an ERA of 1.74 in 10 1/3 innings pitched. Anderson has walked 3, punched out 16. The opponent hitting just 206 off of the Tiger lefty. Here's what you want to see from Cade Anderson. You want to see the same efficiency that you've seen the first 2 weeks, but you do want to see him take the next step. So Cade Anderson has gone 5 innings and then 5 1/3. So he's pitched you into the 6th. We remember that 6th against Omaha. It got a little hairy. He lost command of the fastball and in turn lost the zone. It really danced around on him, and ultimately you had to pull him. And Jay Johnson said 2 innings sooner than he was planning on pulling him. Like, he thought Anderson would get through 7 that day. So you want to see him be able to make it through the 6th inning. The other thing you want to see, let's keep an eye on the velocity. I know that's something that everybody's talking about with him. I am not there yet. This is going to be the best weather that he has gotten to pitch in. The high in Frisco on Friday is 75 degrees, and this game is at 2 p.m. So he should actually be able to work himself into a bit of a lather here for this game, and we'll see. Like I said, I don't remember Anderson a year ago in his starts, even early in the season, when he was going 5 innings. And you could say, well, why couldn't he get past 5 innings? Well, obviously it was the plan that they had there. But in those 5 innings, I don't remember the velocity dipping as it maybe appears to have a little bit at times this year. So this is going to be a really good test for that. So we'll keep an eye there. But ultimately, you want to see the same efficiency, the same dominance of the strike zone that you've seen, the same mix of pitches. You saw the changeup a lot more against Omaha, whereas against Fort Wayne, he was mainly fastball curve. But you really saw that changeup and that slider work its way in. He threw 4 pitches against Omaha. So this is just the next step in Cade Anderson's development at the front of LSU's rotation. And there are some challenges in this Kansas State lineup that we'll get to, but overall, it's a unit that he should be able to succeed against. Now, for the Wildcats, they've had some turnover in their rotation already. Again, said, don't get bogged down by the record. They're 4-4. But this is a Kansas State team that got off to a rough start in the first weekend and then went on the road to Chapel Hill, number 6 North Carolina at the time, for a midweek game, and they took them to the wire, ultimately came up short. So they started the season 1-4. and that caused a little bit of turnover. One of those spots in the turnover was Tyrell lost his Friday night job to Jacob Frost, and it paid massive dividends. Frost, a week ago against number 5 Arkansas, a game that Kansas State won, mind you, was phenomenal. You're looking at, in that game against the Hogs, 5 1/3, so he pitched into the 6th, 2 runs, 2 walks, and punched out 6. He ended up with the no decision. After an outing like that, it would absolutely stand to reason that Jacob Frost takes to the mound once again. I don't know why you wouldn't keep him in that role. Now, as of this recording, Kansas State has not announced a starting pitcher, but we are going to go forward thinking, yes, it's going to be Jacob Frost. So, lefty is Frost. Be his 4th appearance, 2nd start, no decisions, but an ERA of 3.38, 8 innings pitched, 6 walks, 10 punch-outs. The opponent is hitting just 167 against Frost. He's got a really nice changeup. The fastball plays. It's a good fastball from the left side. It's going to be 92 to 94. A lot of good late ride on it. He'll throw it in any count. He likes to finish guys with it. In that game against Arkansas, he really finished off Hog hitters with that fastball, moving it up, down, into both sides of the plate. It's a great pitch. And again, as you said, the changeup's there too. And of course, he'll mix in a breaking ball. So it's a legit 3-pitch mix for a guy like Jacob Frost, who has had plenty of success throughout his career at Kansas State. This is his 2nd year. Before that was in community college. But a dominant start against a top 5 SEC team a week ago that allowed his team to ultimately get the win. So that's who I'm expecting you see for Kansas State against LSU, because again, why would you make a change there? Elsewhere, let's go overview of Kansas State now, and then we'll get into a few more guys to watch, and then we'll move on to Nebraska. Kansas State, we said they're 4-4. They swept through a tournament in Arlington a week ago, and it started with that win over number 5 Arkansas. Then they beat Michigan 5-1. Michigan is a team that has been off to a really nice start early in this year and already downed number 2 Virginia, at the time number 2 Virginia, in a tournament week 1. And then to cap it off, Kansas State ran roughshod over a top 25 TCU team 10-2 to finish it off. So this is a team that took number 6 North Carolina to the wire and then beat number 5 Arkansas and number 22 TCU, and a Michigan team that already has a great win. This is a really good team. Told you, Super Regional Club a year ago, 14 players are back from that team. Now, where they have struggled is offensively. Kansas State is hitting just 269 as a club. When you look at the arms that LSU has, you tend to like that matchup. There are a few guys to keep an eye on, and we're going to start with one guy in particular, and that's Seth Dardar. He's hitting over 400 on the year. He's leading Kansas State in home runs, albeit just 2. They aren't a very powerful team, at least early in this season. He's also leading in total bases with 20. That's a guy who has left the yard twice and also has 3 doubles. Big gap-to-gap power guy is Seth Dardar, and he also is hitting for average. That's the one guy you highlight immediately in this lineup. After him, Maximus Martin, fantastic name, has really come on as of late for the Wildcats and is hitting 444 and is tied for the team lead with RBI at 6. He's tied with D. Kennedy and Nick English, 2 other guys to really keep an eye on. And then the wild card in this lineup comes from Japan. Yamaguchi, Japan. Via junior college first, and that is, here we go. Let's see if we can nail this. Shintaro. Shintaro Inoue. Shintaro Inoue. From Japan, he's hitting 296, 4 RBI. The on base has been fantastic as well. Another guy with some gap power, has yet to find the fence. Hits from the left side, but a wild card in this Kansas State lineup to really look at. Again, as we said, 269. They've scored 46 runs in their 8 games, only 6 homers. And the strikeouts have been plentiful at 69, but they've also drawn 38 walks. So it's a nice offense that's not performing quite up to the standard that they would like. So far, they have won games with pitching. I mean, you look at this last weekend in Arlington, they gave up 2 runs to Arkansas, 1 run to Michigan, 2 runs to TCU. So who are a couple more arms to look at from a pitching standpoint with Kansas State? The one guy we will highlight immediately right here is freshman righty Dante Lewis. And the reason we highlight Lewis is he's a very interesting two-way player. He will also start in left field for Kansas State, but it's been slow for him with the bat. He's a true freshman. Where he has shined has been on the mound. On the season, Lewis, for Kansas State, has made 2 appearances, one of which being a start, but he came out of the bullpen a week ago. He has a 1-0 on the year, a 0 ERA, 4 1/3, 2 walks, 4 Ks, 119 opposing batting average against. What really jumps out? The stuff. Lewis, a freshman, can get it up to 96, 97, and he's got a real tight slider in the mid-80s. It is great stuff from Dante Lewis. So keep an eye out of him potentially out of the bullpen this weekend. If not, maybe they move him back into the rotation and you don't even see him. But that's a guy to absolutely highlight. He's been phenomenal early on in the season for Kansas State. 2 more guys. Blake Dean, not that Blake Dean. Different Blake Dean. This one pitches for Kansas State. He's off to a really nice start. 3 appearances out of the bullpen with an ERA of 3, just 2 walks, 10 punch-outs in 9 innings. High command guy is Dean. And then Tazwell Butler is the other one to really monitor. He leads this team in appearances out of the pen with 4. The ERA is a little elevated at 4.5. But again, another high command guy in 4 innings, no walks, 6 punch outs. So those are the guys to really keep an eye on. Overview of the staff. The numbers are elevated a little bit. 5.22 ERA. Walks are an issue. 37 walks in 69 innings. It's better than a walk per inning for Kansas State. But they do punch out 82 so far on the season as well for this staff. And keep in mind, a week ago, they were really, really good. That's LSU and Kansas State. Gotlit Light Installers, gotlitlights.com. Not just Christmas lights anymore. Now they're looking to upgrade your house all year round. Need to upgrade your curve appeal, take it to the next level, illuminate the front of your house with Gotlit lights, permanent landscape lighting. Maybe you just redid the flower beds. Add some light in there to make it stand out day or night. Same for your backyard. Spring's coming. Maybe you just put in a pool. Spring, summer is pool season, right? Outdoor kitchen, anything to illuminate your space in the backyard, Gotlit Light and their permanent landscape lightings. Gotlit Light Installers. And of course, private event lighting as well, where they will custom design anything that you need, put it up there, store it, install it, maintain it, everything. GotLitLights.com. Get your quote there. Follow the Facebook page as well. Gotlit Light Installers, proud to bring you Musso at the Box every single day. Nebraska. LSU will face Nebraska on Saturday. And this is where things can get a little interesting. Jay Johnson met with John Eads of WAFB before the game against Dallas Baptist, and he was asked about any potential changes in the starting rotation. Give a listen.
I don't think so. Obviously, Cade slated for Friday. We did look at the opportunity to maybe match up with, Nebraska and Sam Houston differently since both guys pitched on Saturday. Hadn't really made a final call on that yet.
So it's going to be the same 3 guys. Hasn't necessarily made a final call on what they want to do Saturday. Look, I can tell you what I would like to see there is I would like to see you keep it the same. Chase Shores looked awesome on 1-day short rest a week ago, but coming off the injury, if you can now get him an extra day before his third start, I think that would be huge. So what we're going to do is we're going to function like LSU keeps it the exact same. So we're going to project with it in mind that they could change it, but we are going to project that Anthony Ianson goes Saturday for LSU against Nebraska. Appearance 3, start 3. He is 1-0 with a 0.82 ERA and 11 innings pitched. Ianson has walked 2 and punched out 13. The opponent hitting just 179. Again, with the weather being better, it might be a little cooler as you get in the evening there. That's a 4 o'clock first pitch. But let's just watch Ianson. I thought he was even better a week ago than he was against Fort Wayne. The thing I really want to see, though, you've seen the efficiency show up in the middle of the game. I want to see that more early in the ball game, where he's not nearing 40 pitches after 2 innings. Can he settle in and really get you deep? That's what I'm looking at here from Anthony Ianson. For Nebraska, it will be right-hander Ty Horn. This will be his third appearance and third start. He is 0-1 with an ERA of 4.5. 10 innings. He has walked 4 and punched out 11. 229 the opponent batting average against. He's a really intriguing arm from the right side. Fastball, 92, 94, 3-pitch mix, a really nice changeup. It's harder. It's not that normal, like 8 to 10 mile per hour difference you're looking for or you're used to seeing. It's going to be more around 86, 88 as the change, but it's got some nice movement on it. And then he's got a dandy of a curveball to go along with it. He got the start against Vanderbilt, ultimately ended up with the no decision in that game, but pitched into the fifth inning, and he's coming off his first career quality start a week ago against Michigan. So he's a very talented arm that should present a nice challenge to LSU's lineup on Saturday. When you look at Nebraska as a whole, they come in 3-4. Again, don't just stare at the record. They knocked off Vanderbilt in week 1. They knocked off ULL, but just couldn't finish off that series and would end up losing that one. This is a team that was ranked preseason, that was a tournament team a year ago, and returns plenty and could be one of the contenders in the Big Ten this season. As a ball club, they hit 217, which again, with LSU's arms, you should really like that matchup. Not powerful, just the 3 home runs. They have scored only 34 runs as well. So they are an offensively challenged team, but what they have done really well has been pitch. An ERA just a notch above 4. They've punched out 60 in 60 innings, so right at a strikeout per inning, and the walk total has been very low. Great command from this Nebraska team, just 20 walks in 60 innings pitched. So pitching is where this is going to really shine. This is going to be intriguing for LSU's lineup. And again, a challenge that LSU's arms should be able to meet at the plate. If we look a little bit deeper into Nebraska, we'll start offensively. Riley Silva is the leading hitter on this team. He'll play center field. 313 is the average. Caden Brombaugh is the leadoff hitter, and he's a really good one. 300 average for him so far at the plate. When you dig into a few more guys offensively, Gabe Swanson, the batting average is not going to jump off the page at you just at 185, but he leads this team in RBI with 9. So that tells you he's still taking good at bats, and maybe it's just not falling in. He understands situationally what to do in order to get the run across. So we will obviously keep an eye there on Gabe Swanson. And the one other guy that I would highlight is Joshua Overbeek at 273. That puts him third on this team in batting average. And the slugging percentage really stands out there at 545. On the mound for Nebraska, there's a few. Jalen Worthley is a lefty out of the pen. Not overpowering. Fastball going to be maybe 88 to 90, but it is a beautiful, beautiful curveball from Worthley. 2 appearances so far, an ERA of 0, 3 2/3. The walk has been a bit of an issue for him, not the Nebraska staff as a whole, but for him. But when he's in the zone, very good. The opponent just hitting 150 or so off of Worthley, and a great, not just a lefty matchup guy, but someone who can extend as well. Luke Broderick is another guy. Look for at the back end of the bullpen. He's a guy who closed out the win against Vanderbilt. Heavy on the breaking ball. He is as well, and it's a really good one too. It is short inning spurts for Broderick, but he does have the one save on the season for Nebraska and is and has only allowed one hit in an inning into third, of course, over 2 appearances. So definitely an eye there. And then Drew Christo, he's gotten off to a really, really rough start, but he does lead this team in appearances. So keep an eye there. It's a really nice staff for Nebraska, and I think LSU's in for a challenge against Horn, and definitely for some of the guys out of the bullpen. Price Bender is the other guy that I forgot to mention. 3 innings pitched across 2 appearances, and he's been perfect. I'm sorry, he's hit a batter. But other than that, he's been perfect on the mound. No walks, 3 Ks, really, really nice arm. So the thing I'm going to be watching against Nebraska is obviously Ianson and the efficiency early in the ball game, and LSU's bats against a really good pitching staff from the Cornhuskers. Then you move to Sam Houston State on Sunday, and we're projecting that will be Chase Shores getting start number 3 and appearance number 3. He is 2-0 with an ERA of 0.90, 10 innings pitched, 2 walks, 13 Ks, 176 opponent batting average against for Chase Shores. For Shores, I want to see him extend a little bit more. He got you 80 pitches or 84 pitches a week ago. The velo held fine. His 84th pitch was 96 miles per hour, and it was a punch out of Omaha's best hitter. But can he get you a little deeper in the game? Especially if he has that extra day rest. Now, are we talking 90, 95 pitches from Shores where he potentially gets you through 6? That, I think, would be fantastic. And just to kind of continue to watch him mix his pitches a little bit more. It's been very heavy fastball. You've seen the slider at times. You saw it a little bit more against Omaha, and it actually flashed really well on that start. Can he take that a little bit now more to the next level? That's what we're looking for there, is just the next step in his development as well, extending, getting more innings under his belt. Sam Houston State, historically, a really good offensive ball club. They are off to a slow start just overall this season. Sam Houston comes in 2-6 into this tournament, and against not great competition. Missouri State's a nice mid-major program. That's who they opened the season against. They lost 2 out of 3. The one game they won 13-4. But then they lost to Rice, and Rice is not what they were. And then they lost 2 out of 3. It was supposed to be a 4-game series against NJIT, the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Pitching has been a problem. Offense has been a problem. And they just dropped a close game in the midweek to Houston. So they come in 2-6, pardon me. And 258 as a club, not overly powerful. Just 46 runs in 8 games. So it is a team that, again, you like the advantage LSU should have on the mound at that point. And at that point in the weekend, you're looking at potentially having Kason Evans back available and maybe even William Schmidt back available. So LSU could set up quite nicely against Sam Houston State in that game number 3. And as we said on the mound, it's been a struggle, a 5.6 ERA. They have walked 35 in 70 innings, so not horrible in the command. They don't put the ball past people. 299 is the opponent's average against Sam Houston State. And with LSU's offense rolling like it is again into this tournament, I love that matchup for LSU. When it comes to a starting pitcher, man, your guess is kind of as good as mine. It's been it's been a rotation there, especially in game 3. They don't have a legit game 3 guy. So, I mean, you've seen Connor Zarbra Zarbra start a game on a Sunday, or I should say in a game 3, as well as Cole Marthagliani. Sorry if I butchered your name. Sam Houston State doesn't have a pronunciation guide, which is horrible. So there's a couple different guys you could see, but overall, out of the bullpen, if you're looking for guys, it's Grant Bauman and it's Felix Schleid. Those are really the two guys out of the pen that have stood out the most for Sam Houston. When you look at offensively, there are some guys to watch. The brother, Ty Bartoliani, is what we're going to go with there, is the leading hitter at 344. And then Hunter Autry leads the team in homers and RBI and is right at 333. Parker Blackman and Brady Christensen round out the 300 hitters in this lineup. So it's just not to say they don't have guys in the lineup. It's just not 1 through 9. There are breaks that you will go through in this Sam Houston State lineup. It's a game that I really like LSU in, especially what you'll have left on the mound and what you could have coming back being fresh after the game on Monday. That could just be massive for the Tigers there. And Sam Houston State is the worst fielding team in this tournament at 958. So it's a game that LSU should absolutely have a heavy advantage in. Okay. For the Tigers on the weekend, a couple things. We kind of talked about the starting pitchers already, so there you go. We'll get a chance to see Maverick Rizzi again, and I'm looking for bounce backs from Connor Binge and Jaden Newt. Those are the guys I really want to see bounce backs from here this weekend, because those are guys who are going to be counted on. You've seen them put Binge in the spot of like cleanup already on the pitching staff. It got away from him a little bit. I mean, he made one bad pitch and it got hit over the fence, but that one bad pitch ultimately, got Omaha to 5 runs instead of keeping it at 2. So I want to see a bounce back from him. I'll be very curious to see if they try to use him twice in the weekend again. That's something to keep an eye on as well. And then Jaden Newt. Newt pitched on Monday. He will get back out there at one point this weekend for sure. And he's been good. The thing is, the walks kind of got to him in his second appearance. That was on Monday night. But Jay Johnson has said that's a guy, on the record, Jay Johnson said that's a guy that they want to move into the top 10 guys and really count on because they think he can do it. And look, it's everything we've talked about with Newt. It's that loose arm action, very repeatable delivery, fastball in the mid-90s. All of those great things are there. So I want to see kind of bounce back from him because they're wanting more out of him as well. And then, of course, Maverick Rizzi, another freshman. You'll see him a couple times probably this weekend. It'll be his first time in, twice in the same weekend. That's something that I'm obviously fired up to see there on the pitching side. And then everything, of course, that we talked about. LSU should pitch fine in this in this go-round. Kansas State's the best hitting team you'll face, and they're at 269. Nebraska's at 217. Sam Houston's at 258. These aren't powerhouse offensive clubs. So LSU should be able to exercise at will there on the mound against K-State, Nebraska, and Sam Houston. But it's baseball. Anything can happen. They still have to go out there and execute. Offensively, I would expect to see Derek Curiel back at the top of the order. I don't know how you don't after the game he had Wednesday night where he reached base 5 times. All 5 times he actually appeared at the plate, he reached base. So, I mean, I don't really know how you don't keep him there. I will tell you, I would like to see Danny Dickinson behind Bear Jones. And I think this is the perfect opportunity on Friday to do that because you have the lefty on the mound. Or at least I'm expecting a lefty on the mound, I should say, for Kansas State. So I think that would be a phenomenal time to get that done. You could have back-to-back righties. Also, potentially with a lefty on the mound, look for Ethan Fry to get the start at DH on Friday. But I enjoy Dickinson behind Bear Jones because of what he's been able to do driving in runs. He's your leading RBI guy with 15, and you've seen and he's tied for your team lead in homers right now. We talked a lot about it on the recap of the DBU game. So that's a change I would like to see them make. The other thing I'm interested in as well is third base, because we've seen Tanner Reeves get a little bit of run there, and obviously Michael Braswell. And I think Braswell is the guy there. But while you're still early in the season and you can tinker, and Braswell's struggling at the plate a bit, how about John Pearson? John Pearson has done nothing but hit the ball when you've put him in there. I mean, he's got 5 plate appearances, 5 ABs. He's hitting 400 so far on the year. He's driven into, and when I saw him in the scrimmages, he played a really nice third base. When you look at him, you don't think natural athlete, but he's got some athleticism in him that allowed him to move very well, and the footwork was very good at third base. I'm curious if we don't see John Pearson get a start at third base this week and be in the lineup. So those are really the things I'm looking for lineup-wise for LSU in the ball game against Kansas State, but also over the course of the weekend. It's going to be really fascinating to watch them face Nebraska, as we said earlier, because the Cornhuskers are quite good on the mound. That's the strength of that team. So I'm fired up to watch them go through this, y'all. I think with the arms that LSU has, and again, the offenses that they're facing, 2 out of 3 should absolutely be the bare minimum here. If they get to that point, then we can talk about the S word, but it's baseball. We never want to get ahead of ourselves there. But this is going to be another big test where you learn plenty about LSU. You already learned a lot about them Wednesday, and what you learned was great. But seeing them go through this again now against Kansas State, Nebraska, 2 teams who are in the tournament, 1 in a super regional, and then Sam Houston State. This will complete the biggest test you'll get here in the pre-conference. You know we'll have you covered wall to wall here on Musso at the Box. So get subscribed if you have not already. Smash the like button on this video if you have not already. Share. All of that is greatly appreciated. And be here next time for more Musso at the Box presented by Gauntlet Light Installers.